very special, wonderful, beautiful, and talented guest here today. She's not here right now. Hopefully, we can get her in the house in a few minutes. Bear with me. I'm playing some smooth jazz right now. But unfortunately, on the other end, on the other end, the listener end, apparently something's up with the signal, so they can't hear it. So I'm doing this to just salvage something, so at least you can hear this and you can hear that. Hey, he actually is in the studio playing music. For some reason, the signal is not cooperating. Let's say that for now. But D Black, as you see, is here in the studio, and you hear music. So I am playing music right now, but just on the other hand, I was told for the last 5 minutes, I was dead air. So I don't know what's going on with that. I'll talk to the owner tomorrow to see if we can put our heads together and we can find out what's going on. It's sort of like the second week in a row that I had issues with just certain issues. I'm sure once we get to the bottom of it, we can figure this out and give you the high quality show that you guys have been tuning in for the past year and a half. So I appreciate you guys sticking with me. Um, I don't know what else to say. Just watch, and hopefully in a few minutes, our guest will be coming in the house. You can talk to her, and yeah, she's a superb artist, great young entertainer. Yeah, you guys will enjoy her greatly. If she makes it in today, if not today, maybe next week. We'll see, but hopefully she'll be showing up. Let me check and see if I got any texts from her indicating that she's outside waiting. Any texts? No. So maybe she's not coming this week. We'll see. Oh, yeah, I'm playing that jazz. How long you been hearing the jazz? Okay. All right. So that's good. Hopefully that happened, but I'm gonna listen to the broadcast. I guess at the when did you stop hearing it? Was it like 6:15 or something like that? All right. Well, yeah. When the live is done, I'll go back and check. Thank you for letting me know. I appreciate that. Yeah, I'm definitely a believer. That's the case. I'm very believer. So what's going on in the world of the Sims? Hello. 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 Oh. 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 That wonderful music you hear is jazz, South Side Soul, the John Wright Trio. Wow, they were doing it big back in the 60s. That's some wonderful music right there. You guys enjoying that music? Are you enjoying that cool jazz? I like cool jazz. And jazz, you know what? I'm going to be honest. Growing up, I'll say I really didn't appreciate jazz. I'll say at some point it was difficult to listen to for me growing up, unless it was certain styles I can listen to. But like this is like I didn't have the patience necessarily like listen to this. Hey, no singing, it's just music being played. Yeah, but now as I progress, through life, through this experience, I've grown to appreciate this style of jazz a lot more. Especially like if ever I want to like just lay down and just somewhere where I'm resting my eyes with my eyes closed and meditating. Very beneficial for that. So yeah, I've grown to appreciate this particular style of music a whole lot more. So yeah. Hey, John Wright Trio, and you guys are marvelous. I hope you guys had the opportunity while you were in your heyday to make a whole lot of money, and because you guys definitely deserve it. All right. Oh, they really getting down with this one. So yeah, we definitely appreciate this. So let's see. Do I have any before we left? Again, I want to emphasize this a little bit more. Not to be really coming down hard on patrons, the clients, and those individuals who are the potential consumers. But in this day and age, especially for things, let's say, are artistic, people, unless it's a situation where the individual is already world famous or there's a whole lot of hype or it's really trendy, people tend to not see the value in it and don't want to pay, right? They don't want to pay. And from to some extent, I see their point because it's not essential. It's not essential to buy somebody's album, no matter how good they are, buy a movie or go see a movie or stream a movie or whatever this thing is, or go to this particular restaurant and pay this. No, you don't have to do those things. There's a few things in the world that we can consider that you might have to do. Like let's say this, and I know there's more than one type of living situation. Somebody lives in a house, somebody lives in an apartment or whatever it is. If you own it, you got to pay a mortgage, or if you paid that off, you still got to pay property taxes. If you're renting, you pay rent. So for shelter, you have to pay something, right? uh, the clothing you wear. At some point, if you didn't make it yourself, but even if you made it yourself, you would have to pay somebody for the materials, the shoes you wear, the food you buy, the water you drink, the electricity you use. Those, I think we can all agree that those are essential. Those are essential. You need that stuff, right? And I'm talking about the traditional way of seeing it, let's say in our society the last 50 or 60 years. And I do realize that there's people on city streets living in tents who do got money, but they want to live in a tent. That's another type of living environment. I guess for them, in their mind, they don't need those other things. They got the tent, or might be sleeping in the car. That's another way of doing it. But yeah, we have certain things that are essential. Yeah, and I get the fact that going to concerts is not necessarily essential, right? But in my mind, I look at it like this. So you may, and I've been in environments where people have paid $1,000 to shake this guy's hands or get a hug from this lady, and again, maybe they build the value over time of their career where people are willing to do that. But at the same time, you got somebody on the come up and they put their blood, sweat, and tears in this thing. So you would pay $10,000 for this guy who's a multi-millionaire who really don't need your money, but the people who coming up who maybe put their life investment into getting this music or movie project or whatever it is off the ground, you don't want to pay them $5, but you'll pay the Justin Bieber guy 2,500 to talk to him for 5 minutes. That's that thing. And again, I know that hey, these people are stars, but at the end of the day, these are normal people. They just have some particular talent. Some really don't have much talent. They just was fortunate that someone knew how to market the little talent they had to help them parlay that into a career. So that's my soapbox moment. But wait a minute. Let me add this. Let me add this as a side note. As a side note, and think about this. And this goes for the stuff we need. Say for instance, again, we all pay for electricity. Say for instance that something happened to where maybe you lived in an area where there was prone to hurricanes or something like that, and you lost your power for like 5 or 6 days. Do you expect PG&E or whatever power company we dealing with is going to give you some kind of discount or prorate your deal to where they take off those 5 days that you didn't get access to the power? Or you riding BART and BART keep breaking down? Do you expect BART to reimburse you for those rides that it was bumpy or power went out? It's like, nah, you don't expect that. But at the same time, somebody who put blood, sweat, and tears, an actual individual, not a corporation, into something, and they already giving it to you for a great price. It's like, man, that $20 is just too much. Can you give it to me for 5? You wouldn't go to the corporations or the big dogs to do that. But the person coming up, You want to always find a way to shortchange and and dime, nickel and dime them. And again, I'm gonna, get off my soapbox and stuff like that. We were supposed to have a guest, but I guess they weren't able to show up. So we have to make other adjustments, you know, in life, in broadcast, have to be able to stick and move, have to be able to adjust, have to be able to switch to something else if this thing you were betting on wasn't working. So right now we're gonna get into some news. There's some movie news actually, delivered by Town Business. So check this out on the GRM Presents podcast. We will be back.
Hey, what you know who it is, you know what it is. All right, guys. All right. Amazon has acquired the rights to two upcoming films that everybody was looking forward to seeing. One is coming to America, numero two, starring Eddie Murphy and Arsenio Hall, as they rephrase their role as Prince Hakeem and Sydney as they return to America in search of Eddie Murphy's long lost son after his father, played by James Earl Jones, who died in the movie. His last wish is for Eddie Murphy to find his son because he is considered an heir to the throne. Now, also they have acquired another anticipated movie, which is Virginia King directorial to be called A Night Miami, which tells the actual tale of how Malcolm X, Jim Brown, Muhammad Ali, and Sam Cooke all hung out in a hotel room, basically just chopping it up after Muhammad Ali defeated Sonny Liston in Miami. Now, this movie is considered a Oscar contender. I've seen a little bit of footage of this movie. It looks amazing. I was interested in seeing this movie, but we all know what happened due to the pandemic. A lot of these big budget movies they're just starting to panic. They're trying to figure out, damn, what can we do because there's loud folks at full capacity. And on the flip side of this, they're buying these movies for streaming services, but at the same time, does everybody want to fork out $25, $30 because that's how much some of these movies are going to cost to stream at one time for you to buy it. So basically, they were just worried about the state of the actual movie theater. A lot of people think that going to the movies could be permanently done. So now they're looking at other options for people to view these big budget movies, and that's another question. What do you do now? You can't have a full theater run and you spending $200-300 million per movie. I mean, excuse me, to make these movies, and you can't show them at the movie theaters under certain conditions. Basically, if you can't show these movies at full capacity, but basically you can basically recoup the money that you spent to make these movies. It's sort of like, okay, so I'm gonna tell you something else that could happen in the future, in which a lot of people was like, well, I don't think that's gonna happen, but they see that Universal Pictures was ahead of the curve when they were saying that you possibly could see movies at home and at the theater at the same time. I think that's gonna be a big thing in 2021. You're gonna have the option of being able to watch a movie at home or go to the theaters that need something better. So I'm just keeping it 100. But yeah, Amazon is let's say for a nice Miami, but they have that movie as well. We'll see what happens. Anyway, this is what tell you. I'm on.
Come over, you can come closer, let me know if you can have it, or we can match it. I'm just trying to chill. Tell me what you like, baby. Tell me what you like. I can give it to you all in the night. Let me know so you can come closer. Tell me if it's real. I can be your sugar, iced tea, honey, just go on me and you can vibe. Put your head on the swivel, got working 45, but I can hang for a little bit. Purpose of your essence is a blessing, baby, it got me questioning. Is the love or maybe just the fling? I'm ready to sing, I know you a black king, so treat me like I'm your queen, and we could be royalty. Now come over, baby, and show me all that loyalty. I come over, you can come closer, let me know. Yeah, girl, can pass it, or we can pass it. I'm just trying to. I'm just trying to share. Tell me what you like, baby. Tell me what you like. I can give it to you all in the night. Let me know so you can come closer. Tell me if it's real. What it do? And if it's real, baby, just let me know, baby. I'm coming home, baby. You can come over, baby. I'm a grown baby, but still no babies. You got my back aching, got my legs shaky. Just trying to get with you, baby. We get physical, baby. You are a miracle. Your girl gets so lyrical. Now stick it to the principle. See your heart like a criminal. Make down with subliminal. Slow it down, cause it's critical. My love is invincible. Typical digital. Now it's typical. What type of issue I've been trying to commit to? Is it too soon if I call you my book? I've been thinking about you. Now my ocean is blue. Put on that shot they are new. Now I'm cooking for you. Baby, I've been waiting on you to come through. You my composure. Slower, baby. You ain't no poser. Get lucky, you my clover. Keep it there cause I'm closer. I can come over. You can come closer. Let me know. Yeah, girl, can have it. Or we can pass it. I'm just trying to. I'm just trying to share. Tell me what you like, baby. Tell me what you like. I can give it to you all tonight. Let me know so you can come closer. Tell me if it's real. What it do? I can rewind it, wind it, rewind it, wind it, oh. Baby, what's the deal? Just got a couple catching no action, it's surreal, oh. Surprise me, excite me, I'm not the greatest, but tonight I might be. From the floor, a little slow, and we can go with the flow. If you feeling it doesn't hit about the show. Cause the fact is, you so attractive. I'm feeling your energy and I'm matching. I'm adaptive, so what's happening? Back to back every moment, you so quite active. But you're real active, ain't no action. Super flame, that guy that you ain't had yet. Come over, you can come closer, let me know. You can pass it, or we can pass it. I'm just trying to. I'm just trying to share. Tell me what you like, baby. Tell me what you like. I can give it to you all tonight. Let me know so you can come closer. Tell me if it's real.
Just a little love. your fantasy. For you, just a little love, little love, just a little love. Your fantasy. Something for you, little love, just a little love, baby. Just a little love, baby. That was DeVere with Just a Little Love. I believe the rapper on that song was Max Sean. Then before that, we heard Nanas with Closer, featuring singer Javon. And before that, we had like some news from town business. He brought up some interesting points in that. But let me say first, Amazon is a very intelligent company, but at the same time, Amazon has so much money on hand that they can pay people to sit around and come up with other ideas on how Amazon can make money, because that's a brilliant idea right now. You got all these movies that were made that can't be shown in the theaters, or now they just beginning to open up the theaters, but um, they lack the abilities. You have full capacity, which at the end of the day, it'll affect how much money could be made by putting movies in theaters. So Amazon is like, man, we got so much money, we can just buy the rights to these films. So yeah, they can give whatever company produced Coming to America 2 125 million because guess what? That company who produced it can't make money with it sitting on the shelf. So for them, that's a good deal. And then to turn around and get Night in Miami, which I'm sure they didn't pay nearly as much as 125 million. They might have paid maybe like 20 million for that because something like that, a Night in Miami, it's not going to be a whole bunch of scenes. It's just some prominent figures in history having a conversation in a hotel room. So that don't cost a whole lot of money. A lot of money to do. So that's a good move on Amazon's part because a lot of people are gonna watch those movies. So that was a great move on their part. And as far as the thing about movie theaters going out of business, well, these movie theaters will have to adjust and come up with something else as an attraction besides movies. But also another problem with the movies is that you're not only paying a hefty amount to see the movie, you're paying a large amount. Because to me, with the movies for the last 20 years, I think they make more money selling you food at the concession stands than the actual movies. I think they get their money really that way. So they would probably have to figure out a way to make that more beneficial for the people coming to see the movies, and also maybe like add some more. Maybe go back to what they used to do back in the day. They used to have like games inside of these movie theaters. Maybe they need to go back to add that. Maybe like because movies have posters and other merchandise. Maybe like making merchandise for those movies on hand available for people to buy in theaters. So for me, in order for them to survive, because it's like you don't have to go to a movie theater to watch a movie. And Town Biz is right. Some of these movies you don't want to stream for $25, but just think of this. You can stream it for that much and you can watch it from the comfort of your own home, and you don't have to worry about paying $60, $70 or $100 in snacks and food because you got your own food at home. And even though, you know, the movies is considered like if you go to a good movie, a great movie, it's considered a great experience. Well, you can make those experiences at your house. With the 70-inch, 80-inch TVs, the surround sound systems, you can have just as good a time, maybe even a better time watching it at home. But at the same time, I do feel that it would be something lost if we didn't have movie theaters. You couldn't take a date to a movie or take your children to the movies. Yeah, it would be something lost, but to me, that's on the movie theaters. That's on them to find a way to survive. Because remember, we live in a capitalist country. Business wise, only the strong businesses will survive whenever there's like an adjustment or maybe like another evolution in business as far as the ability to make money. If there's a change, if somebody's disrupted and we get this new line of stuff coming in this situation, the businesses who are able to adjust will be the ones who survive. And in the free market system, that's really what you want. So we shouldn't have these artificial businesses as far as the ability to be profitable. We can't just be continually dragging them along if they don't know how to adjust to this new environment. So if the movie theaters are gonna last, in this new environment, they got to make the proper adjustments to last. We can't be, like people criticize and get on people's cases for being on welfare, being on unemployment. Well, hey, if you're complaining about an individual getting a few hundred a month, but what about the government bailing out businesses who can't survive on their own, paying them billions? You should be more mad at that, you know? So if AMC theaters can't survive, Century theaters can't survive, hey, that's on them. That's on them. We'll still have movies. You just wouldn't be watching them in big theaters, which you can't really do that now anyway. You'd be watching them at home, or you'd be watching them on the bus, or you'd be watching them on BART, or you'd be watching them at work. It's not necessary to watch movies at movie theaters anymore. That's not the only game in town. So for movie theaters that want to survive, they got to make the proper adjustment. They can't be counting on us to bail them out. And that's sort of like my bar for that. Um, Speaking of movies, my schedule is loosening up where I can find time to get back on watching movies. I did have an opportunity to see a couple of movies last week. One interesting movie I seen, it was a horror movie. It was called Splinter. Splinter was a what's the best way to describe Splinter? So it's one of those movies. I don't know what happened to where this organism. I don't know if it's an alien organism. It seems like it might be an alien organism. But what it does, it it's it's sort of like a parasite. If you got this parasite, it can latch itself onto anything. So you really never see really the full form of what this thing is. So in the beginning, there's a redneck guy at some old school service station. And he started hearing noises, and what do these good white people do when they hear noises, strange noises? Instead of doing the smart thing and either ignoring it or running away, they go towards it. Ooh, what's this strange noise here in the bushes? And you know what happens to these people. They get knocked off, and he got knocked off by this thing. So yeah, they call it Splinter because whatever it combines with, it has these needles, kind of like a porcupine. And so the story kicks off. It's the two people having some kind of they're celebrating their anniversary. So the husband or boyfriend promises girlfriend, "Hey, we can have our anniversary here in the wilderness with no modern 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 things in life that we need and love. We're just gonna be out here in the middle of nowhere." But the problem with this guy is all brainiac, and he don't know how to do stuff like pitch tents and all that. So they get there, and 5 minutes into trying to put the tent up, he's complaining like he want to go home and all this and that and the other thing. And the girlfriend was like, "Hey, you promised we gotta have this out in here and yeah, 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 wine. And tent breaks, something happens. And so these are the main people of the film. So of course they're not going to kill them off in the first 5 minutes. But another story or another thing, you see a couple throwing away stuff. Vehicle looks like it's broken down, but it comes to find out these are two criminals. So what they're doing by throwing away their stuff, they're trying to hide their evidence and stuff. So they push their car, hide the car, and they figure out a clever way to, well, not so clever, but they figure out a way to get the couple's attention who was trying to pitch the tent and have this outdoor weekend and went haywire. They get their attention, so they get a ride with them, and um, into it. The tire hits something, and they go out and investigate the tire. Tire got all these needles in it, right? So the criminal guy sends the guy who can't do anything with his girlfriend. She holding him at gunpoint. They go find. Well, dang, what did we run over? And again, I don't know why it was necessary for them to do that. You could have just fixed the tire and left. So they get to this thing, and for some reason, the criminal girl, she's crazy. She's thinking the thing that they just ran over was some kind of her long lost pet, and the guy was trying to tell her, hey, this thing is dead. We hit this thing. Is it dead? He tried to touch it. It's not dead. It responds to his movement. So it starts moving. So the girl who was thinking it was her pet, all of a sudden she gets good sense and starts shooting the thing, and they run back and hey, yeah, he had this thing out here and they tried to attack us and so they roll over, they get the tire fixed and stuff. But the problem is that the parasite, because the beauty about this parasite thing, it every part of it is living. So even if it's one cell or one piece of it, it can live on its own. That's the beauty of this thing. So like a piece of it attached to their vehicle, and when they get to the service station, man, it really goes down there, and just all kind of crazy stuff start happening. And it's a pretty. I mean, it's not really scary, but it's thrilling. Some of the things they do with good action in it throughout, a lot of explosions and stuff, a lot of people being stupid, getting killed. So Splinter, pretty good movie. Check it out if you have time. There was another movie I seen, a parody called The Hangover Games. Well, basically the creators of this movie took The Hangover, they took the Hunger Games and other movies and sort of like combined them in this movie as a parody, and it's like it's kind of funny a little. It's on a more ridiculous side, but it's kind of funny. You get some enjoyment watching The Hangover being combined with the Hunger Games. The Hunger Games, which I never was interested in watching. It looked just ridiculous. But and Hangover, they did that just too many times. The first one was just sufficient enough, but this parody film, it makes fun and takes shots at a lot of these movies, and it's pretty good. Like if you have 90 minutes to spare, you're not really doing anything. That might be a movie to put on where you get a few laughs out of it. Again, it's not great. It's not Oscar worthy. Nobody in there will be winning any Oscars or Emmys or anything anytime soon with their acting, but it's pretty funny. It's ridiculous, pretty funny. I mean, they go real low to get some laughs. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But again, it's a watchable film. So if you have a chance, check out the Hangover Games, and Splinter. That's more of a. I have a higher or a stronger recommendation for the horror film Splinter. So I think you get a lot of enjoyment watching that. So definitely check out these films. But hey, let me get back into playing some music. So we got D'Angelo and the Vanguard with Really Love on the GRN Presents podcast. Hey folks, so I guess our guest is not coming this week. Maybe we'll get her in next week. For those who tuning in, watching this video, thank you. I appreciate it. I know I'm not the most exciting individual to watch, but if you tune in, I appreciate you tuning in. and sticking with me as I just sit here and play this music. No fancy lights, no fancy mixing and anything like that. I'm just playing this music. So I appreciate you for watching and listening. And folks out there, remember, November 1st, mark your calendars, GRM Awards winners victory brunch where you can get some awesome, terrific food. You'll see some wonderful live performances. You have an opportunity to be a superstar yourself if you buy the VIP tickets, which are $100, but it'll be a $100 well spent. General tickets are $20. You still get food, you still get to watch and see the live music. Don't get a lot of free gifts, but you will have a chance to win a prize. So to get those tickets, go to grmwin20.eventbrite.com. grmwin20.eventbrite.com. And that's November 1st from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. at 3166 Fruitvale Avenue, Oakland, California. 3166 Fruitvale Avenue, Oakland, California. The name of the venue is Notes Music Academy. November 1st, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. GRM Awards Winners Victory Brunch. Definitely check that out. All right. Peace.